For the Jets, great return specialist Rivers, Casey Cater for the Broncos. Then on the NFC side of things, Drew Brees, Jared Goff, Rodgers, Wilson, Trubisky, and Prescott. Good lineup right there. Running backs, Elliott, Barkley, Gurley, Kamara. Fullbacks, Kyle Juszczyk. Wide receivers, Thomas, Jones, Devontae Adams, Adam Thielen, Mike Evans, and Amari Cooper. At tight end, you have Ertz, Kittle, who, by the way, had the single season franchise record for most receiving yards by a tight end, Austin Hooper. And Zach Ertz, by the way, had the single season record for receptions by a tight end, 113, breaking the record that Jason Witten had about 8 years ago. Offensive tackle, Armstead, Smith, Williams, Johnson, Leno Jr. from the Bears, and Jake Matthews from the Atlanta Falcons. I know he's not going to be happy seeing those other two teams host being in his house for Super Bowl 53. Offensive guard, Brandon Brooks, Zach Martin, Trey Turner, Piet, and Warford. And at center, Alex Mack, Max Unger, and Cody Whitehair. And that's your offense right there for the NFC. On the defensive side, Cameron Jordan, who had a big sack last week of Jared Goff in the second half, playing this game. DeMarcus Lawrence, who no longer on suspension, coming into the season for the Cowboys. Daniel Hunter for the Vikings. Defensive tackle, Aaron Donald will not be there. He will be busy in the Super Bowl. Fletcher Cox, Akeem Hicks, Buckner, and short outside linebacker Khalil Mack, worth every single penny the Bears gave him. Ryan Kerrigan, who needs a better team to play for instead of playing for the Redskins. Anthony Barr and Olivier Vernon for the Giants. Vernon, I don't know why. Inside linebacker Luke Kuechly for the Panthers. Wagner for the Seahawks, and Leighton Vander Esch, the rookie out of Boise State, for the Cowboys. At corner, Kyle Fuller, Patrick Peterson. Peterson coming back for another year for the Cardinals. He deserves a better team as well. Darius Slay and Byron Jones. Free safety, Eddie Jackson. Harrison Smith. Yikes. Eddie Jackson had 3 interception returns this year for touchdowns. Strong safety, Landon Collins and Malcolm Jenkins. Landon Collins, of course, usually reliable guy for in the Giants secondary. On the special teams, Michael Dixon as the punter. Good, because his place kicking is nothing to be desired. Aldrick Rosas for the Giants. Tarek Cohen, a nightmare of a specialist, coming for the Bears. Special teams, well, Corey Littleton will not be there, but Michael Thomas for the Giants will replace him. And Don Molback, the long snapper for the Lions. That's your roster for the Pro Bowl. You can watch it again this Sunday, 3 o'clock on ABC, Disney XD, and ESPN, all the brother and sister networks for the Disney company. All right. By the way, the SAG Awards are on TBS and TNT. Got to be fair to all the networks. Now let's start with the AFC Championship, folks. We got the New England Patriots coming into this game. Nice victory at home, defeating the LA Chargers, while the Kansas City Chiefs are at home putting the smackdown on the Indianapolis Colts. Now these two teams meet up again for the second time back in Week 6. Pats beat the Chiefs 43-40. That was a good up-and-down game. This time around, Brady and the Patriots got things going in a really unique way. Starting off, Patriots win the toss. Now, the Chiefs win the toss, and they decide to defer it to the second half. You do not give Tom Brady any time on the field whatsoever. That was a really dumb call on Andy Reid's part right there. I'm sorry. You do not do that. You always take the ball first. Because if you saw last week against the Chargers, he took off over 7 minutes off the clock to get a touchdown right there on that first drive. Yeah, Michelle got a touchdown run. And this time, they did it again. How? 11-yard run by Sonny Michel. 2nd and 9 from the New England 32. Throws a pass to Rob Gronkowski for 13 yards. Then a 3rd and 4 right here. Then, of course, eventually, Michel picks up 11 yards, goes for another 4, 2nd and goal from the 1, Up the middle, Sony Michel, first touchdown, draws first blood, 7-0. They took over nearly 8 minutes off the clock in the process. Chiefs get the ball back, can't even do anything right, including Kyle Van Noy sacking Mahomes for a 14-yard loss. Then the Chiefs are able to at least get something going. And because it looks like at first, on the Patriots' second drive, they're about to get a touchdown. First up, it's 1st and 5 from the Kansas City, 1st and goal from the KC 5. 4-yard run by Michel. Second goal from the 1, Michel can't do anything up the middle. Then all of a sudden, 3rd and goal from the 1, Brady gets the ball, play action, down the middle, he was intending for Rob Gronkowski. Reggie Ragland, the linebacker, is lined up to the right of Brady's vision, moves to the center, intercepts the ball, touchback. KC can't do anything with it whatsoever. They punt the ball back to the Patriots. I know, which really is stupid. And it's terrible that they couldn't do anything. So the Patriots look like they're going to try and get something going. And for the first time ever, they have to punt the ball back on their 3rd drive. Then the Chiefs get the ball back. And a few short gains, 6, 2, and 12 yards. Then Mahomes throws a 42-yard to Tyreek Hill, going down the right sideline. And then all of a sudden, the offensive line fails Mahomes. They give up a 14-yard sack, this time to Trey Flowers. Casey's at a field goal range, so they have to give the ball back to the Patriots. Patriots take off most of the time at the end of the first half, including with 2 runs by Michel for a total of 11 yards. Then Michel with another 1-yard run, 5 more, 3rd and 4. The Chiefs take their first timeout. 3rd down, Brady hits James White for a 5-yard pass. Then a 30-yard reception to James White. Then a 9-yard to James White. Patriots take 2 timeouts. Eventually, 2nd down. Brady with the ball. Throws into the tight window of the left side of the end zone to Philip Dorsett for another 29-yard touchdown. Dorsett has gone 2 consecutive weeks with a touchdown pass. It's 14-0 at the end of the half. And you see that the Chiefs try to get something going, and yet another sack, 14-yard sack, given up by the offensive line this time. 3 sacks. The fact that they couldn't score a single point for the first time ever in the first half in the entire season to begin with. The fact that the O-line gave up 3 sacks totaling 14 yards each, failing Mahomes in terms of pass protection right there. So it's 14-0 at this point. You think that it's over and done with. But the Chiefs never say die. They start the second half at their own 26. Williams gets a 5-yard pass. Then the big moment. It's 3rd and 2. Play action. Huge pass down the field to Sammy Watkins, who everybody said going to this game was going to be the big factor for the Chiefs. Then the next play. Gets lined up in the shotgun formation. Mahomes gets the ball, throws it down the middle on a slant to Travis Kelce, the reliable tight end, for a 12-yard touchdown pass. 14-7 Patriots. So the Pats need to respond. Burkhead gets a 6-yard run, converts a 3-and-1. Michel gets a 4-yarder. Then the Chiefs are called for an illegal, and Brady throws 2 incompletions. They have to punt the ball. Chiefs are called for an illegal block on the punt. They're starting from their own 4. 10-yard pickup by Williams. But Mahomes, unfortunately, sacked yet again for a 3-yard loss, incomplete. They got to give the ball back to the Patriots, who are on the edge of field goal range. They're able to do something with an 11-yard pass to Chris Hogan, but eventually Gostkowski gets a 48-yard field goal, giving them a 17-7 lead going into the final quarter of the game. So we're in the 4th quarter right here. And Mahomes decides enough is enough. I got to get something really going right here. 9-yard play on the ground from Mahomes. Then Watkins for a 10-yarder. Then 2nd and 10 from the New England 14. Mahomes gets to Kelce in the end zone. Jackson, of course, defensive player for the Patriots, gets called for defensive pass interference. So they're at the 1 yard line. And touchdown to Damian Williams. Yeah, run. And it's a 3-point game. The Patriots not able to do anything. Patriots are, well, let's go later into the game right here. It's still 17-14 at this point. And after the interception, and this was after the Brady interception, the second one of the game, Mahomes hits Watkins for a 7-yard. Patriots challenge the catch. It was ruled complete. Mahomes drops back, hits Damian Williams for a 23-yard pass, touchdown, first lead of the game, 21-7. Of course, later on, after that, 17. Patriots regain the lead, of course, with a penalty, and helped by roughing the passer. Didn't even look like a roughing the passer. Eventually, 4th and 1, Michelle, eventually, Michelle runs in for a 10-yard touchdown run, giving them a 24-21 lead. Then the Chiefs regain the lead on the next drive, helped with some 2 penalties against the Patriots, roughing the passer and a pass interference, gives the Chiefs 23 yards. First down, Mahomes finds Watkins for 38 yards all the way to the 2-yard line. First and goal at the 2. Damian Williams carries it again for another touchdown run, 28-24 Chiefs. On the next drive right here, this should have been the end of the game. Interception by Brady, but what happens on 3rd and 5 with 47 seconds to go? D Ford gets called for offsides, negates the interception. Later on, few plays later, with 39 seconds to go, Rex Burkhead gets a 4-yard touchdown run, 31-28 Patriots. Mahomes and company get the ball back, goes down the field, including a 21-yard pass to Ware, 27-yard pass to Robinson. Eventually, Harrison Butker gets the game-tying 39-yard field goal. It's 31-all. Patriots kneel the ball. They go into overtime. Of course, Patriots win the coin toss, and they go into overtime, 31-all. Brady throws a 10-yard pass to Hogan. 3 third-down conversions, twice to Julian Edelman. First a 20-yarder, then another 10-yarder. Then he's faced with the third down and 10 situation in this overtime drive. This time, he throws a big lofting pass for 15 yards to Rob Gronkowski on the left sideline. Then Rex Burkhead gets a 10-yard run up the middle, then a 3-yard run, and then eventually the game-winning 2-yard run. Patriots beat the Chiefs 37-31, third consecutive Super Bowl for the Patriots, joining the Miami Dolphins from 71 to 73, and the Bills, who did it from 91 to 94. Of course, between the two of them, they only won one of those Super Bowls in total in that time period. Actually, no. Dolphins won 2 of those Super Bowls in that time period, including the undefeated season, while the Bills couldn't buy a Super Bowl victory if they wanted to. It was just, the fact that Brady had his best game. He was 30 of 46, 348 yards. He only had the 1 touchdown. But the fact that Julian Edelman played the biggest part in this game, and James White as well, on several big catches on the day. And if had not been for that offside call, that was the deciding factor at the very end. Because they would have had an interception. They would have won the game 28-24. Instead, the Patriots are able to go down the field, and that was that. And eventually, when it comes to overtime, that makes Brady now 3-0 in OT situations in overtime. And as we've seen in overtime, when Brady and the Patriots get the ball first, that usually means the other team will be sayonara, don't want to be ya. Never see the ball at all. That rule needs to change in a heartbeat, as well as another rule in the next game I'm going to mention. Let's now go to so now that the Patriots represent the AFC, they need an opponent. Let's go to the NFC side of things in the Big Easy. Nolans, Louisiana, Les Bon Tom Roulette. New Orleans Saints taking on the visiting Los Angeles Rams. The last time they played each other in the regular season, the Rams lost to the Saints 45-35, which necessitated another home visit because the Saints ended up with the number 1 overall seed due to the tiebreaker they had over the Rams in that game. And really, this was a great way to start things off, especially for those New Orleans Saints. They got the ball first in the game. Drew Brees and company receive the ball, and they have a big 3rd and long situation. Brees hits Ted Ginn this time for a 9-yard pass instead of having it picked off like last week when they played the Eagles on the very first play of the game on a bad pass intended for Ted Ginn. This time, that wasn't the case. Alvin Kamara with 2 big plays for 21 yards and 14 yards. He caught a pass from Drew Brees. Eventually, they had it settled for a 37-yard field goal by Will Lutz. Rams get the ball on their first drive, cannot do anything right. And Todd Gurley, unfortunately, the ball's bounced off his hands into the hands of Demario Davis, the linebacker for the Saints. Saints, of course, can't do much themselves in terms of getting a touchdown. They had to settle for yet another field goal by Will Lutz, 29-0. The Rams, fortunately, go 3 and out on their next drive and have to punt the ball back to the New Orleans Saints. Then eventually, the Saints, on the ensuing drive, eventually get a touchdown. Brees hitting Thomas 19 yards for a first-yard gain. Then, several plays later, it's 1st and 5 at the 5-yard line, helped by the encroachment penalty called on Michael Brockers, the defensive end for the LA Rams. Eventually, 5-yard pass to Garrett Griffin. Garrett Griffin, his second NFL target, his first NFL touchdown. The 16th different receiver that Brees has thrown to in the regular season. That's impressive right there. And they're up 13-0. So the Rams, on the ensuing drive, look like they're about to give the ball back on a 4th down punt. Hold on to your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen, because that's not how the Rams are going to play this one. Johnny Hekker, lined up in the middle. You know he was a former QB in high school. He's done several trick plays. Here again, on 4th down, hits Sam Shields, who's typically a defensive, it was a safety in the defense, hits him for a 12-yard play for 1st down to extend the Rams' drive. Of course, even with that fake punt, Goff scrambles for a 7. Gerald Everett, 11-yard pass. Anderson gets 2 big runs, 8 for 8 yards and 2 yards. But then it's 4th down. They're not able to do anything after Gurley, unfortunately, an incomplete to Gurley. And Greg the Leg gets a 36-yard, Greg Zerlane, a.k.a. Greg the Leg, or Legatron, a 36-yard field goal. It's 13-3 Saints. Now, we go down towards the end of the first half right here, for the sake of time on our show. Sorry, folks. Next time I got to get this a little better. So it's the end of the first half. It looks like it's just going to be 13-3. Brees, of course, unfortunately, got sacked on 2 consecutive plays by Ndamukong Suh. That was huge right there. The offensive line didn't do him any favors. And the Rams get the ball and take it over. They go down the field. Reynolds catching a 9-yard and 13-yard. Cooks being hit for a 17-yard pass, trying to get over on his former team. 1st and 10. Jared Goff throws a 36-yard pass to Brandon Cooks. Gets him inside the 10-yard line. Gurley gets the carry goes for a 6-yard touchdown run, 13-10 at the end of the first half. But of course, the Rams get the ball at the beginning of the second half, can't do anything, so they go 3 and out, unfortunately. So the Saints get the ball at their own 39 yards. Kamara, an 8-yard pass, a 9-yard to the right side, 2 consecutive plays. Ingram rushes for 16. Kamara catches 2 more for 8 and 9. 3rd and 2. Brees hits Hill, the QB, the second quarterback on the team, Tyson Hill from BYU, and his 17th different receiver he's thrown a touchdown to for a 10-point lead. Unbelievable, right? From a 2-yard pass. Tyson Hill is usually brought in on trick plays and on special teams, but the fact that he was lined up and was able to get the touchdown pass from Drew Brees. Threw to the right, into the right corner. It was easy right there. Now, the Rams are down 10 points right here. They get a 3rd and 2. They convert with a short pass to Cooks. Then a 14-yard to Cooks. Then a 35-yard. Von Bell tackles Goff. And he's down with the injury. But Reynolds carries to the left side to the 1-yard line. Goff fumbles, loses 2 yards on the play. Then 2nd and 3. Anderson for a 2-yard pass. 3rd and 1. Play action. Tyler Higbee, not even covered, gets the touchdown. 20-17 at this point in the game right here. Now, eventually, the Rams tie the game up at 20-all when Jared Goff hits Everett for a 39-yard reception. Eventually, delay. They get called for a delay of game on that drive, but Greg the Leg gets a 24-yard, 20-all. Now, getting to the most egregious error of the game right here. It's still 20-all. The Saints have the ball later in the game. And going down the field. And it looks like Nicole Roby-Coleman on the ensuing play hits right into the face of number 11 on the Saints offense. And it's just really, I think it's just such crap right here. Like, how does this not get called for, pass interference from the defense as well as helmet to helmet? The Saints could have basically killed the clock inside the Rams' 5-yard line, and then settled for a game-winning field goal by Lutz, and they'd be in the Super Bowl. Well, they just had to settle. Fortunately, they settled for a field goal from Lutz from 31 yards out, but they give up too much time. That was bad time management on Sean Payton's part to give up a minute 41 to the Rams. And believe me, the Rams thanked them for that by going down the field. Eventually, 48-yard field goal by Greg Zuerlein ties the game at 23-all. Saints get the ball and win the coin toss. Get the ball to begin with in overtime. Drew Brees, few plays later, 1st and 10 from the New Orleans 40. Yeah, Donald blows and runs for up Ingram's run for a loss of 6 yards. Then, unfortunately, an interception of Drew Brees by Johnson, the 3rd. Rams get the ball back. And Zuerlein goes, few plays they're able to get down the field, but then Greg Zuerlein lines up for the longest field goal in NFL postseason history. Down the middle, 57-yarder, and it's good. Rams beat the Saints 26-23. And now you have your NFC champions. Congratulations to the Rams. They're in their franchise 4th appearance in Super Bowl history. The first, of course, was Super Bowl 14 when they were the LA Rams, losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Terry Bradshaw's team, 31-19. Bradshaw was the MVP that year. I think that was the second consecutive victory the Steelers had in the Super Bowl. Then the next time the Rams were in the Super Bowl 34, the greatest show on turf, against the Tennessee Titans. They beat them 23-16. That was the Kevin Dyson game, the 1-yarder basically. Jones was able to tackle Kevin Dyson 1 yard short. And the Rams beat the Titans 23-16. Kurt Warner was the MVP. Then 2 Super Bowls later, 36, they lose to the Patriots 20-17. That was Brady's first ever appearance in the Super Bowl. That was the first Super Bowl that took place on the first Sunday of February, but when 9/11 happened, the NFL delayed when 9/11 happened, and we were grieving as a nation. We needed to suspend all sports activities and everything that was going on to help the people that were going through one of the worst tragedies in American history. And the NFL delayed they stopped play for a week, so that's why the Super Bowl was moved from typically the last Sunday in January to the first Sunday in February. And since that Super Bowl, every Super Bowl has taken place on the first Sunday of February, and that was one, yeah. And in New Orleans, in fact, U2 had a great halftime performance at that time. Then the fourth one is this one coming up. As for the Patriots, this is their record 11th appearance in the Super Bowl. 9 of those in the Brady-Belichick era. This is the third consecutive in that era. It's going to be fun, and we're going to get into the nitty-gritty next week. Now, as for the teams that lost, the Kansas City Chiefs, as we know, Dee Ford is one of the top 25 free agents going to 2019. We know they signed him they just placed the franchise tag on him. Are they going to come up with a big contract for him? And we're hearing from Mahomes, he may be the first ever $200 million QB in NFL history. Considering what he did this year in his sophomore season, 50 touchdowns, over 5,000 yards. First time that's been done in a regular season since Peyton Manning with the 2013 Denver Broncos. Of course, they ended up losing Super Bowl 48 to the Seahawks 43-8 that year, unfortunately. And that was some other issues, including the safety in that Super Bowl. But nonetheless, for Mahomes, he is the future of the franchise. We saw why they moved up in the 2017 draft to get this kid out of Texas Tech. And he's the future. He's going to be the next Tom Brady, the next guy to break records and get this team over the edge. And with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and even the improved play of Damian Williams, since they had to let go Hunt, the idiot who basically ruined his career whatsoever. Let's hope he can clear his issues and but not going to stay too much on him. But the Chiefs itself, I think, have a good organization intact. If they can get their defense to match their offense, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with for the next decade. If everything stays the way it is, with Andy Reid at the helm, coaching the team, and with Eric Bieniemy as the offense coordinator, now with Steve Spagnuolo as the DC, they could take this to some great places, including next year winning that second franchise Super Bowl. As for the Saints this year, they got severely screwed by the league on that call. Without a doubt, Nicole Roby-Coleman should have been called for pass interference and for the helmet-to-helmet contact. He should have been kicked out of the game for that. Well, I don't know if he would have been technically kicked out of the game, but the fact is, technically, Roger Goodell could have this game played again, according to an old rule in the NFL rule book, but he will not at all. And it would be an unfair disadvantage for the Patriots, too. Or could it be a disadvantage on them in terms of the Rams and Saints playing each other again and being fresh and ready and hot and ready to go, while the Saints could be soft, for having another week to recover? Or, you never know. It depends on who you talk to. Nonetheless, that's never going to happen, all right? But as for the Saints themselves, they only have $20 million in guaranteed money next year. Mark Ingram is going to be a free agent. Will they even have enough money to re-sign him to a contract? Because he's going to want some big money. But he may take a discount. Who knows? Because him and Kamara are a great tandem together. And here's the other thing. They have no first-round pick. They gave up their first-round pick to get Marcus Davenport, to the Green Bay Packers. So this is going to be a trying season in 2019 for the Saints. But I have all the faith in them, and I think the window right now could be closing on Breeze for 2019. So this is where things are going to have to count. As for the other two teams, I'm looking forward to the Super Bowl. This is going to be fun. I love Super Bowl Sunday. The food, the Super Bowl boxes. I'm already in 2 of them, and seeing people trying to get the big deals for those plasma screen TVs, and the amount of chips, beer, wings. I mean, this is the second biggest glutton fest behind Thanksgiving. And the commercials that are now over $5 million for a 30-second spot. It's nuts. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this show as always. For all the hardworking men and women at CTV who do what they do best, for Mr. Kenny Graham behind the booth, I'm Eric Rosen. Join me, Jason Adam Hare, and Sean Daz next week for the Super Bowl 53 edition of the Blitz Zone here on CTV. Good night Peace and love. Peace and love, Staten Island.